Did you imagine that losing Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, that you would find yourself as an organization, I'm not talking to just you, but as an organization, did you imagine that you would find the Clippers in this position right now, particularly when you couple that with the fact that the other team in L.A. are the Lakers and they just got LeBron? Did you see this coming?
Well, obviously, I think, when you add a player with LeBron James' caliber, and Stephen, I've been a huge fan of his. I've been a great defender of him over the years. When you get somebody like that and you bring him into town, I was frankly excited because I like to watch him play. Sometimes these things through injuries, they've had a ton of injuries this year, him included. But the expectation level that people have when you add a player of that importance, it is just tough sometimes to achieve it. But I would tell you, and far as the Clippers, I believe in competition, okay? I don't think there's any one player, unless he's young and enormously talented, that if you, in today's day and age, the way this game is played, and it's played significantly different, coaches have had to change their philosophies because of the three-point line. If you can add a player that would maybe be a huge danger before the three-point line, have a good passing team, and more importantly, a terrific defensive team, nothing is impossible in this league. And I've always said sometimes that I think sometimes you can trade players off of your team that everyone praises, and you can become a better team. Sometimes sometimes if you subtract something, it'll add addition somewhere else on your team. But I've never been afraid. People say, well, this guy's going to sign somewhere else, that guy's going to sign somewhere else. If they want to go somewhere else, fine. This is about competition, and that's where I think the front office makes a difference. Again, my plaudits are to the authority that Steve Ballmer, who is one of the best owners, and I work for one here in Los Angeles, and Jerry
Without
Buss.
question.
He is one of the best owners and nicest men I have ever met. You would never know that he's successful. He is really normal. But the thing I love about him, he is so competitive. And at the end of the day, who do you want to be around? You want to be around really competitive people who are going to let his staff run this team. They run everything by him, but he is an amazing owner.
What's your relationship like with Magic Johnson, or what has it been throughout the years?
Well, first of all, listen, Stephen, I'm always going to root for him. To me, he's the greatest player. They talk about Kobe Bryant. I think he's the greatest Laker player ever because of his leadership ability. I think Kobe Bryant's ability to score, and everyone talks about his mentality. Trust me, Irvin Johnson's mentality was the same. He never talked about it. And I think when I look at their situation over there, number one, you would like to see him healthy for sure. And number two, LeBron James, the way he plays the game, he is most effective when he has the ball in his hand. That's when he's a genius. That's when Irvin Johnson was a genius. And the thing that they went out and tried to get some players that would complement him. But along the way, some of these guys haven't shot the ball real well. And as you're well aware, the three-point line certainly is so vital today. And if there's been any disappointment to me is watching them shoot the ball. They just don't shoot it consistently enough. And they have runs because they're playing at a much faster pace, that if they're not making threes, or any team in this league, forget the Lakers, any team in this league, if you're not making threes, you're going to have a lot of run-outs, Stephen, and they're going to be layups, and it's hard to defend in a spread court with the enormous talent these kids have today and the enormous ball handling ability these kids have today. So making three-point shots is crucial, and when they make those, they're a very good team, but they have not been healthy at all this year. But obviously they've got a lot of work to do in the off season. They'll analyze it, in my opinion, and try to change a team in some respect.
Let me tell you why I'm asking you that question about Magic Johnson, for several reasons. Number one, Jerry West is a competitor. Number two, it's the Clippers in a position now to essentially take over LA as far as I'm concerned. You got more cap space. Your owners got more money than everybody. Okay, there's nothing holding you back. And God help you if you're able to get the facilities that you ultimately want, meaning a new arena within the next 4 years or so. Who knows what it's going to be like? You can only imagine. We also take into account the fact that it was Jerry West that was the executive of the Lakers when Shaquille O'Neal was acquired from the Orlando Magic. It was Jerry West that was in the ownership's ear in Golden State as a consultant when Kevin Durant decided to come to Golden State. All of these kind of things, the Iguodalas of the world and others, Klay Thompson being drafted, et cetera, et cetera. When you look at things from that perspective, the belief is Jerry West, in concert with Lawrence Frank, Doc Rivers, Steve Ballmer, is so ultra competitive, they absolutely plan on winning free agency this summer over the Lakers, and that might be a primary motivation. Nobody's more fired up than you, sir. To that you say what?
Well, I would tell you, as I say, we're excited about the summer, but as I mentioned before, Stephen, there's been so much talk about free agency, and obviously the people in the news media have created that. I don't even like to talk about it, to be honest with you, because we're hopeful that we can get somebody interested coming here. Our selling point is going to be Steve Ballmer. Our selling point is going to be a head coach like Doc Rivers. Our selling point is going to be we have different kind of fans than the Lakers. That's our selling point. But, Stephen, you certainly give me way too much credit. I'm just a voice. Even though I'm not uncomfortable giving my opinion. But more importantly, I do like risk-taking. I really do. The best risk-takers, and that means that they think that certain players are more valuable than others. The best risk-takers, to me, do the best in this league.